right. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Philosophy of Fitness podcast. My name is Haley. I'm going to be your host today and every single day that you tune in. I am so excited to be bringing this to you guys. I've been sitting on this idea for quite a bit, and I was kind of just like waiting for the right time, waiting for something to come along to kind of push me to do it. And I kind of realized that, you know what, there's really not going to be a right time. There's really never like a right time to do something, right? So that's kind of where I am now. So yes, here we are, my friends. So excited that you're tuning in. So Philosophy of Fitness, episode 1. We are getting it going. So I guess I'll kind of just give you guys a little bit of an introduction about me. If you don't know me, if you don't know my story, you don't know why I'm here, what I'm doing. I am a fitness instructor. I'm somebody that's super passionate about health, wellness, fitness, diet, exercise, all that stuff. But I'm also really passionate about mindset things and how our mind can kind of be really transforming if we have it in the right place. So that's kind of what inspired me to start to do this, is just connecting the dots between what we bring to the table mentally and what happens for us physically. I really do believe that everything kind of starts from within. So I just want to like share what I am passionate about with you guys. I want to like try to help somebody in some way if I can. That sounds kind of silly, but I want this to be more authentic too. So I have sit down videos that I do, and I'm still going to do those. I still definitely want to do those, but I want this to be more of a like conversational experience. I want this to be more authentic. So I want this to be more of a dialogue where you guys can kind of chime in with things. If you have topics that you want to learn about, certain things that you want to hear about, I am totally open to that, and I would love that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for with this. So I guess we'll just start with the things that led me to this, the things that led me to where I am today, what I'm passionate about. Like I said, I've always been passionate about fitness. I played 3 sports throughout high school. And even when I was younger, I kind of messed around with different exercises, different diets, like definitely not stuff that I should have been doing. But it's all right. Like everybody makes mistakes, right? When I was in college, I was a gym rat. I was always working out, always at the gym, always trying to eat healthy. And I went to school for communication and English, so I got my degree. Once that happened, I got a job in corporate advertising, and it left me feeling like obviously stressed out, but super unfulfilled. Like I felt so far removed from the process of helping people, and I kind of just was like, there is no way that like this can be it for me. Like I felt like I wasn't even tapping into like half of what I could be doing. So it left me feeling really like, did I go to the school for the right thing? Like what? I don't know. Long story short, I wound up having an epiphany moment that wasn't the path that I wanted to be on. And while that's a beautiful path for lots of people, it just wasn't the path for me. So I quit my job. I got my personal training certification. I would never turn back, wouldn't change it for a thing. It's been the best decision I've ever made. It's felt so rewarding. And I can honestly say that was definitely the right choice for me for my path. And I feel like I'm totally more so tapping into my passion, helping people, which is great. So that's kind of like the physical background of it. So I'm a personal trainer now. I'm a fitness instructor, spin instructor as well. So that's like the physical part of it. And again, super went out on a limb there, quitting my job like that. But I'm so happy that I did. So that's kind of like where we are now. And on like a mindset kind of philosophical level, that's where the philosophy part comes into play. Back in 2013, I discovered a documentary called The Secret. And if you're interested in really like transforming your mindset, that is such a great starting point that I recommend to people. When I first saw that, it was like a switch had just clicked for me. Like everything made sense. Like, wow, thoughts become things. Like, oh, I get it. Like, that's great. And it clicked for a while, and it was really cool for a while, and I felt like I was seeing changes in my life from it. But as I kind of went on, I lost sight of it a little bit. I kind of let that awareness of my mindset slip to the back burner, and things started kind of going awry, to be honest. Last year, I had a couple of experiences that led me to rediscovering it and really delving in a second time. And I can honestly say that, everything happens for a reason. And here I am today. I am so passionate about, again, like connecting the dots between what you experience mentally and physically and the connection between the two. So that's kind of a nutshell of like who I am, why I want to do this. And yeah, I feel like this is going to be a fun journey. For me, for hopefully anybody tuning in, learning about some different things. So I want this first episode to be just that, outlining what this experience is going to be, what I want it to be. And I want you guys to contribute to that. I want to know what it is that you're curious about. What is it that you want to know pertaining to your mindset and your fitness and the interconnectedness between both of them. I want to know what it is that you want to know. So I figured that this first episode would be a really good time to kind of just bare bones, like literally very bare bones minimum, outline the law of attraction, or at least my understanding of it, my experience with it, and how I can kind of trickle it down into like layman's terms of something that you could kind of take away from it. So simply put, if you have not heard about the law of attraction, it is a universal law, and some people will say it's pseudoscience, but I would argue quite differently. There's a lot of evidence to prove that it's more than that, but very simply put, it is the premise that thoughts become things, that everything in this universe is energy. So that's kind of just like the really big bare bones structure of what exactly it is. So to delve into it a little bit more, thoughts become things. What does that even mean? If you find yourself thinking really negatively, right? You go to school, if you're a kid and you're like, oh, I'm not popular. Like, I'm so uncool. I'm a nerd. Nobody likes me. I'm never going to have friends, things like that. And you view yourself as somebody that's lonely, somebody that's sad. You keep perpetuating that narrative for yourself. So when you go to school every day, you keep getting bullied, you keep getting picked on, and you keep experiencing that, and it keeps happening over and over and over again. And it's like, well, why doesn't anything change? Why is it that keeps happening? And part of that is that you perpetuate that narrative to yourself. So this is like really esoteric to some people. I understand that, but I'm trying to think of like an easy way to explain it. So yeah, thoughts become things. If you were to example, rather than view yourself as like the victim of all of those incidences of bullying, you kind of say, you know what? No, I'm not a nerd, whatever. You flip around your internal dialogue. You start telling yourself, you know what? I am smart. I am confident. I am funny. I am witty. I'm energetic. I am a light. You say all these things and you start changing your view of yourself. You start carrying yourself differently, and people feel that, right? They pick up on it. And then all of a sudden, boom, wow, look at that. Like the bullying stops. Maybe people stop picking on them. That's just like a little hypothetical example, but that's basically kind of the gist of it. So I did a video about this, I want to say like a little over a month ago, but kind of talking about just that thoughts become things. And that's like a very surface level understanding. As you get deeper into it, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that it's not only your thoughts, it's actually a lot more than that. It is how you feel energetically. There is a great quote by Nikola Tesla. It's that if you want to understand, the laws of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And that particular quote has been the most transforming for me in my understanding of the law of attraction and all of this stuff. So it's not only thinking those positive thoughts, like that's great, obviously, but it's feeling the emotions that are connected to them. So it's not just thinking positively, it's feeling as if. And I know it can get a little bit confusing, but there is a distinct difference between like pretending and living as if you are experiencing that. So you always want to think about, again, energy, frequency, and vibration. There's a chart of different levels of vibration. Different thoughts resonate at different frequencies. So fear, shame, and guilt, anger, all of those really negative emotions, they resonate at like a very low vibration. So if you were to think of it like the pyramids here, right? The very low energy thoughts and feelings are down here, like fear, anger, shame, guilt, sadness, all that negative stuff, right? As you start to come up that pyramid, you get more towards awareness and acceptance, neutrality. Those are kind of like in the middle. And then as you get even up way more towards the top, that's when you have like bliss, joy, unconditional love, all of those like really high vibrational emotions. And those are kind of like at the top of the pyramid. So that's really important to understand, is that if you think about, you know, how each thought resonates at that different vibration, that can kind of help you conceptualize it a little bit. And there's actually a lot of interesting research from Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's a brilliant guy. I'm currently reading one of his books now. It's called Becoming Supernatural. And he's done a lot of research into seeing how your mind can kind of translate things that you're experiencing physically. So he's done a lot of research with determining that when you are feeling as if, right? If you're like, let's say you're wanting something, like you want the experience of being wealthy, having money. If you're feeling like as if you have that, if you're, you know, in your mind, you feel as if you already are wealthy, you're thankful, grateful for all the abundance that you have in your life, your brain, your subconscious mind actually doesn't know the difference between that reality and the feeling that you're feeling. So going back to kind of like the energy thing, whatever energy it is, whatever frequency it is that you're emitting out, that is exactly what you're getting back to you. So you can think of the law of attraction as the universal magnet of whatever it is that you're experiencing. So if I'm on that pyramid, right, if I'm down here with that fear, the shame, anger, guilt, I am putting that out. It's like a big like magnet, and it's attracting more of that towards me because, again, everything in this universe is energy. And I know this is a little bit confusing, but I'm trying to kind of just like talk it through so that you guys can have a little bit of an understanding of it. And I'll get into how it relates to what you experience physically in a little bit. So yeah, just to kind of overview, again, thoughts become things, but it goes deeper than that. It's the feelings that are connected to those thoughts. It's the feelings more so that are bringing your experiences in towards you. So always keep that in mind. Like I said, this is really big, like heady stuff, and I get that. But that's what I want to do with this podcast. I want us to challenge our norms. I want us to challenge the ways that we've been taught to kind of conceptualize the world, the universe, how things are and how they aren't, right? Like they don't teach this stuff in school. They don't teach you that, like, yes, you do have the potential in your mind to do all of this. And it's funny because I feel like when I first learned about it, I was kind of frustrated. Like, why isn't anybody like taught us this? Why is this like so hidden? And it's interesting. So that's what I'm here for. I want you guys to be aware, because that's the first step, is just like becoming aware of it. And then you can make the choice if you want to live by it, which I'd highly recommend. So where does that bring us next? I was talking about thoughts becoming things, feelings, all that stuff. So different thoughts vibrate at different frequencies. So you always want to be mindful of what it is that you're feeling the most. And the big part of the law of attraction is, as I mentioned with Dr. Joe Dispenza, he said your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what you're feeling like emotionally, if you're like visualizing versus what's really going on. Is it's changing the patterns of your subconscious mind. It's changing those thought patterns that have been developed, that have been ingrained in us for years and years. We've been told to think a certain way. Sometimes maybe if you're told you're never going to amount to anything, you believe that, you reiterate that in narrative. And it takes a lot of time to just like be aware of your thoughts, to think about your thoughts, which is a weird thing to even like say, right? Like, how do you think about your thoughts? But if you kind of take a step away, when you just let your mind wander, when you let your mind go, just be aware of where it goes. So sometimes you can notice, like I know it's happened for me, like you get stuck in a rut of, oh, like I'm not going like fast enough in my runs, or I'm not lifting heavy enough, or even right now something that I'm experiencing like with this whole crazy situation we have is like I'm not getting as much gains as I could be. I know that sounds like really silly, or like I feel myself like slipping into bad eating patterns, or I feel myself, losing my muscle mass, like stuff like that. And you just keep like reiterating that, you keep saying that to yourself. And it's like, okay, cool. Your subconscious mind's got it. They're like, yeah, okay, you're feeling that. You're feeling that like shame, that guilt, that you're not doing as much as you could be doing. You're not feeling like productive or whatever. You're feeling those negative emotions about yourself. You attract more of that to yourself. You attract more of those experiences that are going to reiterate that narrative to you. And it's hard. Like I get it. It's super hard. But the first step, and a huge step in like raising your vibration towards those higher emotions, is just being aware of it. Be aware of what it is that you say to yourself. Be aware of how you talk to yourself. I kind of say it sometimes and it sounds a little bit silly, but you got to be like your own biggest hype beast, your own biggest like wingman or hyper upper, because if you can't do that for yourself, then like nobody's going to do that for you. So you always got to think about that. You always got to be mindful. And that's the first step. So once you're aware of what your thought patterns are, once you're aware of like what kind of, thinking you have, maybe what kind of feelings you experience the most, great way to do that is to journal. Keep track of that. 5-10 minutes a day, write down, when you first wake up or when you go to bed, like what you're feeling each day. That's a great way to be just, again, aware. Awareness is the biggest first step. So that's the first step in kind of like applying it to yourself, is like being aware. And the next step after being aware is kind of learning to, once you have that awareness, transform your thought patterns towards what it is that you want. And I think that the easiest way to do this is through meditation. Meditation is totally, absolutely life transforming. It's been the biggest thing that's been transformative for me. I've noticed that it actually reduces my resting heart rate every time I meditate, and I can see it, which is a really cool scientific way to see, or not even scientific, just like physical way to see like what your mind can do. So I always love connecting the dots. Like I said, I'm a very spiritual person, but I approach it scientifically. So I always like to kind of see how science can back up some of these esoteric, crazy concepts that we delve into in terms of mindset, philosophy, all that kind of stuff. So again, meditation, that's like one of the best ways that you can make that change. So it doesn't really require a lot of effort either. If you have access to the internet, you can access tons and tons of guided meditations. That was the first place that I started, and I still use them. Guided meditations. You just put it on, you put on your pair of headphones, you can sit down, you can lie down, and it's a great way to relax. When you enter a state of relaxation, it actually changes your brain waves. So your subconscious mind is going to be more susceptible to the things that you're programming it with. So that's why when you get into a meditative state, you get really relaxed, your heart rate comes down, you are more likely and you're more receptive to receiving that information and putting it into your subconscious mind and allowing it to digest in your subconscious mind so that then you can manifest it around you. So simply put, guided meditations, there's all different kinds. If you're looking, again, if you want to like manifest money, if you're interested in like manifesting maybe your dream body, your dream physique, you want optimal health, muscle mass, whatever it might be, when you listen to these meditations and you kind of just relax and you let go of having to control like the thought process, that's going to penetrate your subconscious mind. And that is one of the quickest ways that you can see the law of attraction really work in your life, is if you meditate, you let go of that need to control all of your thoughts, and you kind of just be mindful of taking that time when you meditate to relax and clear your mind. That's when it's going to be the most powerful. So lots of different things, lots of information here. I get it. I know that it's quite a bit, and I wanted this to kind of just be like a little like brief introduction into the law of attraction and my understanding of it. And it's absolutely 1,000% changed my life. It's changed who I am. It's changed how I view the whole world. Like I said, the documentary, The Secret, that is such a good starting place. So if you want to start there, definitely check it out. I think it's on Amazon. I think you can find it maybe on YouTube, but that is just a really good documentary for also kind of explaining how this works for you. So the law of attraction, that is a huge part of who I am. And I think it's going to be a huge part of the discussions moving forward on this podcast is understanding the law of attraction and understanding how you can use it. So again, it's not just thoughts become things. It's more so like feelings become feelings, right? Because that's essentially what it is. Whatever you feel the most, you're attracting to yourself the most. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how this has helped me with my physical fitness, because I do think that the two are so intertwined and so interconnected. And that's what I want to discuss on this podcast is the relationship between what you can do physically and what you can do mentally. So I have applied the law of attraction to a lot of different things in terms of my personal fitness, my goals, whatever it is. Visualization is a huge part of the law of attraction as well. So for any of you out there that are athletes that train for like a certain race, or you train for something in particular that you want to do, a contest, anything, if you take some time beforehand to visualize, you are so setting yourself up for success. It's like not even funny. So that's the biggest thing for me in terms of the connection between the law of attraction and fitness is the visualization component. So anytime that I have a race or I have a certain event that I've been training for, a certain thing that I'm doing that I want to get after a certain goal, visualizing has been a huge part of that. So for example, if I wanted to row a certain distance in a certain amount of time, let's say I'm doing like 2,000 meters on the rower, right? And this is for a competition. I will literally the night before, I will meditate. So I'll usually put on some meditation music, usually like energy healing frequencies. That is a whole nother topic for discussion, and that's definitely something I'm going to get into. But yeah, that is like a whole other rabbit hole that I don't want to get down quite yet. That's going to be coming. But you literally visualize yourself going through that and doing it. And if there's a certain, like I said, if you're going a certain distance, you want to get a certain goal, visualize yourself getting out. All right, sorry about that. My camera cut out. Yeah, so if you're doing like a race, you want to get a certain distance or whatever it is, what I'll do is I will literally go through an entire visualization process where I visualize myself doing, like I said, the 2,000 meter row. I visualize myself doing it. I see the monitor pop up. I see the exact time that I want to pop up, and I feel the feelings of how it feels to see that time, to experience me getting after exactly what it was that I wanted to. So if I wanted to get it done in a certain amount of time, I see that number popping up on the rowing monitor. And another example I have of this is at one of the studios that I coach at. We did this little challenge. It's called Catch Me If You Can, and you have to be at a certain distance running. And if you're not there, then you're caught by the clock and you have to hop off the treadmill. And I really, really, really wanted to get to 19 minutes out of the 23 minutes. That was my goal for myself. And the night before, I did exactly like I said. I visualized myself doing it. I saw myself on the tread. I literally felt like what it would feel like. And I pictured the treadmill monitor in my mind. I pictured the entire setup like so vividly that it felt like it was literally right in front of me. And I saw the number 19 pop up in the right side, and I felt it. I saw myself pressing that stop button as soon as I hit the 19. And I always said to myself, yes, like I did it. I got to 19 minutes. Like I got it. And I went through that entire experience of like feeling it, literally feeling it and envisioning it in my mind's eye so that it's like, it felt so real and it felt so vivid. And lo and behold, the next day, what happens? I go in the studio, I hop on the tread, and boom, your girl made it to 19 minutes on the dot. I'm telling you, you guys, this stuff works if you really put your mind into it, if you really put effort into it. Yeah, it is so, so cool if you can do it. And going back to Joe Dispenza, he's even done a lot of research that suggests if you like do something in your mind like that, especially physically, like fitness related, there was some kind of study he did, but he had a control group where he had 3 people go through all this kind of like meditation stuff with their mind, and they like envision themselves doing bicep curls with their mind. I think some other group did it differently. And there was a specific group that through meditation, they literally were visualizing only in their mind's eye that they were like performing the bicep curl. And it was for a set amount of weeks. And they actually found that after a couple of weeks, that set group that had heavily meditated and visualized themselves performing the bicep curl increased their muscle mass by I think around, I don't know what the exact number was, but I will try to find that. If you're interested, let me know. But it just goes to show, guys, how powerful your mind is. It is so connected to your physical fitness. So that is so huge. And my final tip would be for connecting your physical fitness, connecting what you can do with your body to what goes on in your mind. Another big part of the law of attraction is gratitude. So whatever it is that you want more of, you have to be grateful for what you already have. So your physical fitness is a big part of that. So something that I do every day is I go through like a list of gratitudes, I call them, and I will go over like different parts of my body, and I will thank myself, and I'll thank the universe for everything being healthy, everything working at its optimal capacity, every, muscle, cell, ligament in my body, doing the best it can, serving me in the best way that it can. So that's another good tip, is if you want to have more health, like general good health, thank yourself and be grateful for the health that you already have. If you're alive, if you're breathing, especially in a time like this, be so, so grateful for that. Be thankful. Again, gratitude is almost like the little accelerator of the law of attraction. So you be grateful for what you have. And on the flip side of that, you can't focus on the lack. That's another big thing, because whatever you put out there energetically, the universe doesn't understand. No, it doesn't understand like negatives being in front of things. It's just going to bring more of it to you. So if you say, I don't have enough money, like I'm poor, whatever, it's just going to bring more experiences to you that help you, or not that help you, but that make you feel that way. So if you're saying to yourself, like, I'm fat, I'm lazy, I don't have motivation to work out, like I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, whatever that is that you're saying, the universe will literally ricochet that back to you, and that's what you have. Whereas if you're experiencing that, if you feel that, like, that's okay. Again, it's totally fine to feel that way. Awareness, that's like the first big thing of the law of attraction. So if you're aware that you're like, okay, I'm aware, I'm having these thoughts, like I feel this way about my workouts, whatever it might be. If you flip that around and you say, you know what, I am so happy and grateful that I'm able to walk. I'm so happy and grateful that I have the ability to, maybe lift some weights, or I'm grateful that I'm alive, that I'm breathing, that my body can support itself, that my body is healthy enough. Think about flipping it around. And this is a really fun experiment to do. So for like the next week, or until whenever it is that I like upload the next episode, be mindful of your thought patterns, especially when it comes to your fitness, your health, your approach to dieting. That's another trap that people can sometimes get into, always being in a place of like lack or restriction, or trying to control so much. A lot of shame can be centered around dieting as well. If you kind of like take a step back and be aware that you have that approach to it, and then try to transform it to, you know what? I am serving my body in the best way possible. I am approaching lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle. I am doing my best to fuel my body in the best way. That can be transforming. It all starts from within, guys. That's like the main point of this first episode, is just like introducing you to the law of attraction, how transforming it can be. So maybe take some time, have a fun little experiment for yourself. Be aware and be observant of what your thoughts are. So think about how you think, right? It's pretty cool to journal it and to be mindful of it. Take note and listen and say, you know what? Okay, cool. Like maybe you're someone that has a great mindset already, and you're like your own biggest hype beast. Like you're good. That's awesome. Maybe you're somebody that, kind of has a tendency to slip into a little bit more negative thought patterns with health, fitness, whatever it might be, and that's fine. But guess what? You're aware of it. So that's huge because you didn't even know what was happening before, and you probably didn't even know that you were bringing more of that to yourself before if you weren't aware of it. So my advice would be, for a first step, is to, again, take note, journal, whatever it is that you are feeling the most. And then also look into maybe trying to start some guided meditations just to relax yourself more. Another huge part of people not being able to lose weight or to burn fat in the best way they could is stress. Stress raises your cortisol levels in the body, makes it really, really hard to lose weight. So if you're more relaxed in general, it's going to help you get after whatever it is you want to get after more. So that would be my advice there. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, this is just more of like a me talking kind of format, but I really hope that you guys like it, and I want to know what you guys want to hear about. Let me know, what kind of topics are you interested in? Do you want me to explore more mindset stuff, or do you want me to explore more of the fitness? Another reason why I wanted to start this is because I feel like a lot of times in the fitness industry, you get a lot of information about diet plans, workouts, different approaches to health and wellness, like physically, like how to, yoga, all that stuff. But nobody kind of really delves into more of like the woohoo kind of mindset stuff and the energy and the vibrational component of like your mindset and what happens. So that's where I am hoping to come in. I'm really hoping to learn more about this as we go, and to share what I already know with you guys to hopefully motivate, inspire somebody, and to just get it out there. Like I said, I've been sitting on this for a while, and we're here. So, yeah, I think that is all for our episode today. If you enjoyed this, please share. Please let me know if there's something that you want to hear. If there is a question you have, if you want advice on a certain subject, I open the floor to you. Shoot me a message. Let me know. I'll answer your question here next time. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Until next time, guys, keep the good vibes flowing, and I will see you when I see you next. Adios.